You know that old saying, what got you here won't get you there? Well, it's especially true for leaders. Today, we're going to dive into a leader's personal journey, this big shift from being in total control to becoming a coach. It's a fascinating story about how the exact strengths that help you build a business can, believe it or not, end up being the very things that hold it back.
So, let me ask you something right off the bat. Are you a leader or are you just a firefighter, constantly running around putting out the next blaze? It's a simple question, but man, the answer can spark a huge shift in how you lead. And that's really the core idea we're going to get into.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in the super high-pressure world of Irish retail. And in that kind of environment, a command and control style of leadership, that wasn't just, an option. It was basically a survival tactic. I mean, just picture it. You've got razor-thin profit margins, people are coming and going all the time, and you're drowning in regulations for everything from food safety to licensing. When you're in the middle of that, being a hands-on, task-oriented leader isn't just one way to do things. It's pretty much the only way to keep standards up, and honestly, to keep things from falling apart. And there's a name for this, right? It's called transactional leadership. It's all about giving precise tasks, keeping a close eye on everything, and jumping in to fix problems fast. And you know what? For a while, it worked. It worked really, really well. Success was simple. Just be there, be in control, and have your hands in every single detail. But what happens when things start to get bigger? When the organization starts to grow? Well, a system that's built on one person being in control of everything, it's gonna start to crack. It's just inevitable.
And that's exactly what happened. As the business scaled up from just one location to 7, that top-down, I'll-handle-it approach just couldn't keep up. The crazy part is, the exact method that made everything stable in the first place, it was now the single biggest bottleneck in the whole operation.
And the fallout from that? It was huge. Decision-making slowed to a crawl because everything had to wait for one person's sign-off. The supervisors? They weren't growing or learning to lead on their own, and any kind of initiative from the team? Poof, gone. For the leader at the center of all this, it was just a recipe for massive stress and, ultimately, burnout. Yeah, this quote really says it all. Leadership wasn't about strategy anymore. It just blurred into one long, ongoing crisis. It's like you're no longer the captain steering the ship toward a destination. You're just bailing water as fast as you can to keep from sinking. But sometimes a crisis is exactly what you need. This was the turning point. It forced a moment of really deep reflection. The question wasn't, am I good enough? It was, is my entire approach to leadership wrong? And the answer was clear. The focus had to change, from just solving problems to actually developing people. And when you put the two styles side by side, wow, the difference is just night and day. On one hand, you have the old way, directing behavior, correcting mistakes, making sure everyone's following the rules. But on the other hand, this whole new path opens up. It's about fostering trust, building people up, and making decisions that are grounded in real shared values. So this new model has a name. It's called authentic leadership, and it really boils down to a few key things. It's about being really self-aware, knowing what you stand for. It's about being transparent with your team, no hidden agendas, and it's about being open when you process information. It's a huge shift, right? From I'm the boss to we're in this together and I trust you. So the goal itself just completely flipped. It wasn't about hoarding all the responsibility anymore. The new mission was to start giving it away, to empower other people to use their own judgment and to really take ownership. Okay, but that all sounds great in theory, right? It's one thing to have a new philosophy, but it's another thing to actually do it. So how did this leader actually put it into practice? What did they change day to day?
Well, here's the playbook, the step-by-step. Step 1, stop just giving the answer right away. Instead, step 2, start asking questions. Simple things like, so, what do you think we should do here? Step 3 is crucial. You encourage them to think through their own decisions. And finally, step 4, when mistakes happen, and they will, you frame them as learning moments, not failures. It's a total shift from fixer to coach.
And this idea is really the engine behind the whole change. Real growth, real development, it doesn't happen because nobody ever makes a mistake. No way. It happens when you create a space where people feel they can try things, maybe even mess up, and then learn from it, all while knowing they've got support but are still held accountable.
Now, for any of this coaching stuff to actually work, there's one absolutely essential ingredient. It's called psychological safety. All that means is creating an environment where your team feels safe. Safe enough to ask a dumb question. safe enough to challenge an idea, and maybe most importantly, safe enough to say, hey, I messed up, without being terrified of the blame game. It's the absolute foundation for learning.
And it's so important to remember this. This kind of change isn't like flipping a switch. It's not a destination you just arrive at one day. It's a journey. It's an ongoing process of reflecting, adapting, and growing. Especially when you're under pressure and those old control habits try to sneak back in.
So this timeline really lays out the whole story, doesn't it? In the beginning, control was good. It created stability. But then, with growth, the whole model just cracked under the strain. That forced the big shift to a new framework based on trust and authenticity. And now leadership is this ongoing practice of teaching and empowering the team.
And I think this is the ultimate takeaway from the whole journey. Real leadership, great leadership, isn't about being irreplaceable, the hero who swoops in and solves every problem. It's actually about empowering everyone else, building their judgment, their sense of responsibility, so that eventually they don't need you for every little thing. So, we'll leave you with a thought to chew on. You don't have to overhaul your entire leadership style overnight. That's not realistic. But think about this. What's one small shift, just one tiny thing you can do this week to move away from just controlling an outcome and toward actually coaching a person?